What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel in another video. It's been a while since we've done anything on the channel. Basically been waiting for parts, and the 335 has just been kind of hanging out, but today we're working on the E30. Still waiting on some parts for the turbo build, so I decided to work on some other things on the car that I wanted to do. So if you notice, the seat's gone. That seat's next. We are finally putting aftermarket seats in this car. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've owned 3 E30s and I wanted to put them in every E30 I've owned. So today we are actually going to do that. Now, if you are familiar with E30s at all, they're pretty much two types of factory seats. You have sport seats and you have comfort seats. Now this is a standard comfort seat in a 3 Series BMW. They're incredibly flat. There's literally no bolstering, and there's barely any on the sides, so you do slide around a lot when you drive these cars with these seats in them. Now, I would love to put a set of sport seats in this car, but those are extremely expensive. Cheapest I've seen a decent set was pretty much like 1,200 bucks, and then they go up from there. So instead of doing sport seats, I decided to do something else, which I am super stoked about. So let me show you guys the seats that we are going to be putting in this thing today, along with a few other interior goodies. These seats are the Recaro SR7 ASM, which apparently is a limited edition. I don't know, I did a bunch of research on them, but they are a Recaro Japan product. They came out of some type of Honda, I think, so I had to get rid of the rails and the seat brackets and had to come up with not my own, but Garagistics sells a bracket mount. It's basically a bracket from any Recaro 4 or 6 bolt seat to stock E30 sliders, so they just bolt straight back in like your stock seats would. I had to go ahead and do one of them already, so this is the driver's side seat. I just wanted to make sure the brackets fit. I wasn't 100% sure if everything was gonna work. They are rather tall. They're probably 4 inches taller than the factory seats. Actually, you can tell right there how much bigger they are. But they are really comfy. They're soft. I like all the material that they're made out of. They have like this Alcantara bolstering, and then that goes all the way around to the top, and then they have this mesh fabric in the middle. A lot more bolstering than the factory seats, and I think they will change the car quite a bit. So, since I already have brackets on one of them, I'm gonna throw the driver's seat back into the car just so we can have a better idea of what they're gonna actually look like in there, and then I'm gonna go over doing the bracket on the passenger side seat and kind of going over that. The instructions on Garagistics' website they could be better, so I'm gonna try and make a small tutorial on how to do this. If you guys wanna put Recaros in your E30, this will be hopefully helpful. So let's go ahead and throw this driver's seat back in, and we'll get it bolted up real quick. Alright, here's a final look at what they look like in the car. Pretty easy to install once you have the brackets on, but you can see the brackets right here. There's 4 17mm, there's 2 nuts up front, and then there's 2 bolts in the back for your stock seats and your stock rails. But here they are, and here's a comparison. You can truly see how much of a difference this is. The only issue I've ran into is this bolster touches the door a little bit. Not a big deal. And then if you slide the seat all the way forward, this bolster hits the center console. Obviously, since they're not specifically made for this, the fitment was kind of questionable, but that's something I can deal with. But they look really, really good. All right, now that we got that in, we're gonna do the other one. We're gonna break down the passenger seat. So These are your standard sport seats. Again, like I said, 2 bolts up front. There are 2 studs in the front, 2 bolts in the rear. That's it, that's all that holds it in. We'll have to pull the factory brackets off of these and then swap them over to our new Recaros, which they should just bolt to the bottom like the other ones. So, let's go ahead and get started pulling these things out. Alright, we finally got that seat out. Obviously I have to vacuum up a little bit underneath. But if we come over here, here's the bottom part. These are the sliders that we need to take off. They're actually relatively simple to take off. There's just this bolt right here, which is a 17. There's 2 on each, there's 1 on each side. And then you have these pins up here that you just have to pop out, and then these rails will come off. And then our bracket kit. This is our bracket kit from Garagistic. It can fit different types of seats, different like mounting bracket points right there. So we have that, all the hardware comes with it. Everything to adapt our factory seat to our Recaro. This is the bottom of the Recaro. 4 mounting holes right here, that's it. Should be pretty easy. The first one was, so let's go ahead and get this bracket off, and then we'll put it on this and get it in the car. Alright, here's our factory seat. We got these bolts out, and then they kind of sit on these right here. So you got to wedge them out with a screwdriver, and then these pins pop out and the front comes out, and then you get your rails by themselves. So I'm going to clean these up real quick, wipe them down because they're kind of gross, and then the brackets are pretty straightforward, but we'll go over that. Alright, well, considering this is really hard to do while filming, I went ahead and did one side. The other side still needs to be done. But I'll run over how you put these on, or the closest I could get to figuring out the right way to put them on. These are, you get 2 bolts with your hardware for the brackets. And then there's spaces around there. There's the bolt washers, nut. So the way I did it, which let's see if you can see. I put this, the thick one, up front, and it kind of sits in between the rail. There's the spacer, and then that just bolts in like that. And then the rear one uses the long one, if you can see that. And then I attached them to the seat with these hex bolts that came with the seat from the other brackets. They do supply you with bolts, but I couldn't get them to fit mine. So I'm using the old bolts. That's basically it. It's actually a really simple setup, and it works really good, so everything fits fine. So we just need to do the other side, and then we can get everything back in the car and see how it looks with both the seats in there. Then we have 2 other items to put in. Been waiting a long time to put these in. I've had them for a while. I ordered them a long time ago. And they should change the whole look of the interior with the seats. So let's finish this one. Finish this side and get ready to throw them back in. Also, one thing to note, don't forget to put your seat belt on the bolt when you're putting them together, or you're gonna have to take them all apart again, and I've done that before. So everything's good to go in here. Got to vacuum a little more. So let's go ahead and put this on and throw it in the car. Alright, you guys, finally got the seat bracket on. There's not a lot to show, unfortunately, like filming, so I don't want to bore anybody with that, but they're on now. They're bolted in. The 3 bolt holes go towards the front of the seat, and the single bolt hole goes towards the rear. That's pretty much it. They're really easy to install, honestly. The instructions were like pretty lacking, but I made it work. Don't forget to put this bar back on. This is how you adjust your position. And they are ready to go back in the car. So we are just gonna throw them in, and hopefully everything fits. There is a little adjustment in the seat brackets. So I'm trying to get it right the first time so I don't have to pull them out again. But let's throw them in the car and see how they look. Here is the first look. They both look so good. So stoked on this. Interior's looking way better now. So we got both of them in. This one went in a lot easier than the first one, but that's to be expected. Those look so good. Alright, before the sun goes down, I have one more thing that we're gonna put on this car that I've been waiting for a while. Let's throw it on real quick. Now, if you own an E30 or have before, this is probably missing, this under dash panel. In all my E30s I've owned, I've only had one, and they tend to be missing, and they're kind of hard to come across, but Garagistic just came out with this. This is like a replica, and it's still textured like the factory one. It pretty much looks exactly like a factory one, but it is aftermarket, and it's apparently made in Taiwan. So this should look a lot better. It's not a factory piece, it's not a factory item, but it should look a ton better than having nothing there. And they also include mounting screws for it, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in real quick, and we will see how good it looks. Okay, well, we finally got that in. It took me a minute. It looks really good, honestly. It's not obviously the factory piece, and obviously it does not mount the same as the factory piece, but I made it work, and quite frankly, it looks a lot better than having a bunch of exposed wires on the bottom. And it's relatively inexpensive compared to like a true real OEM under dash panel, so I think it's a really good option to go with, you know, until I can find a real one, or I'll just rock this one because quite frankly, it looks great to me. Now we have one more thing to do, and I've been waiting to do this for quite a while. It's a really stupid, simple piece, but I think it'll look really good. So in this box from Garagistic, we have a new rod for our Garagistic chassis mount shifter. This is a carbon fiber one, and there's literally no benefit. This doesn't do anything besides looks, but I think this is gonna look a lot better. Right now we just have the anodized metal, but we're gonna put this carbon fiber one in and complete the look of the interior for now. Alright, well there we have it, the carbon shift rod's on. It looks a lot better. It kind of modernizes the whole thing a little bit more. Again, it doesn't do anything, and it's just looks, but I think it looks pretty cool and kind of adds to the whole thing. So we got our seats in, we got our shifter done, and we got the under dash panel done, and the interior's starting to come together completely, finally. I've been driving on these seats for a few days, and they make a world of difference in this car, and this car just feels like a go-kart now. So I'm excited for all this. Still have some more stuff to come. I want to redo the shift boot and get a shift boot for this. And then I need to redo the back seat because the back seat's all torn up. If anybody watching this knows anybody with a back seat in this fabric pattern for an E30, please let me know. I've been looking for one. I really just need the back part, but you know, the whole seat I'll take too. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up there. I got everything done that I wanted to do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. We gave the interior of the E30 a complete makeover, and I think it looks fantastic. And the seats perform incredibly well, so I'm happy about all that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.